Hello there everybody, my name is Adam Cleary and welcome back to the WhatCulture quiz Wonderdome. Take a good hard look at The Undertaker now, and it is slightly hard to believe that he was once the most terrifying thing in all of professional wrestling. Like, for real, there was a kid in my school who, whenever he would come round to watch wrestling with us, had to leave the room when The Undertaker was on because his mom didn't like him watching it. I mean, unprotected chair shots to the head, deep blading, Deborah's tits, all fine, apparently, but a goth in a robe was where Mrs. Canulty would draw the line. Odd. Anyway, though, don't let that weird childhood anecdote A, give away how old I actually am, or B, distract you from the fact that the Ministry of Darkness were really cool. I mean, not a stable that gave us a slew of great matches or anything, but one of the best bits of character work the company has arguably ever done. The only question is, though, how much do you remember about the Ministry of Darkness? Well, no, actually, that's not the only question, is there? I've got 10 questions for you to answer about the Ministry of Darkness. You know the drill. I'll give you some options. It'll be 10 seconds. You can come up with the answers yourselves and record your own score, because my name is Adam Cleary and this is our Ministry of Darkness quiz.
Bloody good quiz.
Alright, to get us started, we're going to take you back to the Ministry of Darkness's formation, to their I'll tell you what I want, what I really want moment, and ask you, with whom did The Undertaker reunite to form the Ministry of Darkness? Was it A, Kane, B, Paul Bearer, C, Brother Love, or D, Jake the Snake Roberts? Start the clock. Time is up, and the correct answer to what I must admit is the easiest question here by an absolute goddamn mile is, of course, Paul Bearer. Yes, Daddy, or whatever it was he used to call him. If you got that one wrong, this is going to be a very long quiz for you. Not long after that, in fact, in the very same year, WWF removed The Undertaker from television for about a month after he tried to embalm Steve Austin while he was still alive. While the undead dude with the mystical powers tried to embalm the living Stone Cold Steve Austin on television. But no, you're right. Flips are unrealistic. Anyway, how did they write him off TV? That's the question. Was he A, buried alive, B, kidnapped by druids, C, locked in a casket, or did he just straight up quit? Time's up, and to be completely honest with you, it could be any single one of those. I think they all happened at some point. I got this wrong when I did the quiz, but the correct answer was, of course, he was buried alive. Not by Love, sadly by Steve Austin and Kane. So yes, the big lad then spent a solid month off television before returning to finally start the Ministry proper. But when he came back, eagle-eyed viewers noticed that something had changed about his appearance. He looked spookier somehow, but what had he done? Had he A, shaved his head and grown a mohawk, B, begun dressing as a biker, C, grown a goatee, or D, started wearing a ghoulish mask? All terrifying, I'm sure you'll agree, but which one is it? But that's your time up, and the correct answer, which if you don't know is actually quite easy to work out because it's the only one of those options which is actually scary, is that he grew out a goatee, which, as we all know, is the scariest form of facial hair. Ooh. Yeah, go on, take your point and f*** off. Right, so okay, serious Ministry stuff now. The Undertaker returns and he's got all his hopes and his dreams and his big scary aspirations and his even bigger, even scarier symbols, and he kidnaps somebody and brainwashes them into being a part of the Ministry during his return ceremony. But who was it? Was it A, Mabel, B, Dennis Knight, C, Stephanie McMahon, or D, Bradshaw? That is your time up, and while he did technically brainwash two of these, and he definitely kidnapped a third, the answer we were looking for was Dennis Knight. Yes, who we rechristened Midian. You see, it all pretty much makes sense now. 1 year later, Naked Midian came along, which, I mean, is admittedly more than I've ever done with my life. Alright, so the Ministry's now this big deal. It's The Undertaker, it's Paul Bearer, it's Midian, it's Viscera, it's Farouk and Bradshaw, the Acolytes, and it's sort of the Brood, I can never work out whether they were just like in the ministry or just all just goths hanging out together, because it's what goths do, isn't it? Anyway, they have this big overarching objective. They went right after Vince McMahon for one very important reason, but what was it? Did they want revenge for all of McMahon's heinous actions? Did they want McMahon to grant Taker a WWF Championship match? Did they want to take over the WWE? Or did they want to brainwash him into joining the ministry? Time is up and group of men seeks to punish Vince McMahon. Please give reasons could be the most open-ended question I ever asked. But the actual answer is C. They wanted to take the place over. They wanted to run the WWF for reasons. Alright, slightly weird one now, and at the very height of all this, during a feud, another superstar kept breaking kayfabe and referring to The Undertaker by his real name, ironically, of course, is Mark. He kept saying he was going too far with the gimmick and he was getting too involved with the character. It was very strange, but who was it? Was it A, Vince McMahon, B, The Rock, C, Mankind, or D, Ken Shamrock? Ding, 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 ding. It was, of course, Ryan Shamrock's brother, Kenneth Shamrock. Nobody remembers Ryan Shamrock, do they? She was one of those forgotten Attitude Era things. The Undertaker actually sacrificed her and called her a slut during all of this, but nobody remembers that because of Stephanie McMahon. She was the bigger deal. I remember, though. I remember Ryan Shamrock. Moving on. Don't worry, everybody, we're nearly there. And in 1999, SmackDown finally arrived on all of our wrestling screens. And on the very first episode, the pilot episode, as I think some of you call it, the ministry were involved in a monumental angle. One of the biggest things the company had ever seen. But my question to you is obviously, what was it? Was it the return of the Brothers of Destruction, the reveal of the higher power, the formation of the corporate ministry, or the dark wedding ceremony? Proper goth moods, all four of them, but your time starts now. Time is up, and I'm just going to hold my hands up here and say that I worked myself into a total shoot telling the author of this quiz that all of these answers were wrong because none of that actually happened on the first episode of SmackDown. But no, apparently it's me who is the dickhead, and the correct answer is the formation of the corporate ministry. Bloody hell, remember that. The higher power thing would follow subsequently later. Son of a bitch. Ah yes, now the corporate ministry, an absolute pack of bastards if I've ever seen one in my entire life. But their membership thing was a little bit weird, wasn't it? There was people in the corporation who weren't technically part of it, and there was people in the ministry who weren't technically part of it, and also people who were in the corporate ministry who weren't technically part of either the corporation or the ministry. So my question, the real brain tickler I've got for you here, is which of the following was not an official member, according to WWE, of the corporate ministry? Was it A, the Big Boss Man, B, Viscera, C, Test, or D, all of the Mean Street Posse? Time is up, and those are technically six lads who, for very, very different reasons, you would never want to invite to a house party in this day and age. But the correct answer is Test. Yes, Test of all people, which means Joey Abs, Rodney, and Pete Gas were technically part of the ministry in a sort of subset, joined on kind of way. That's another one to bring up the next time people tell you that wrestling isn't realistic because the do flips. Now, this whole ministry angle, in my humble opinion, peaked when The Undertaker recaptured the WWF Championship for the third time. Indeed, I believe the whole point of the ministry was to build The Undertaker to reclaim that belt from Stone Cold Steve Austin. See, thought I was going to ask who he won for it. No, I'm actually going to ask who counted the pinfall in that match when he won the title for the third time. Was it A, Mankind, B, Shane McMahon, C, Vince McMahon, or D, Commissioner Shawn Michaels? Alright, so story time. Shane booked the match between The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin as his first official act as the leader of the corporate ministry, but Commissioner Shawn Michaels inserted another referee into that match, and that man was, of course, Vince McMahon. And then during a big hoo-ha in the middle of the match itself, Shane McMahon counted the pinfall, and that was, of course, part of the story. It was a little fast count because he's a little bastard, isn't he? Yeah, Mick Foley wasn't involved at all. I just threw him in there because it's my quiz. And yeah, sorry, just getting one from the producer here. What's that? A convoluted takeover angle in which an unlikely alliance is formed but just degenerates into a McMahon family drama with the same main event as at the top of the card as were there before the whole thing started. Yeah, you're right. That's what a novel idea. And here we are now, guys, effectively the death of the ministry. Oh, so sad. And also, of course, the death of this quiz. Also so sad. After failing to recapture the WWF title again, after he lost it, we've skipped a bit here. After he lost it, he failed to recapture it again and thus failed to save the corporate ministry. What did The Undertaker do next, which effectively signaled the death of the group? Don't know what my hands are doing. Did he quit and return as a biker? Did he reunite with Kane? Did he form an alliance with The Big Show? Or did he just shave his head? Time is up, and I mean, technically, yes, he did do all of those eventually, and they all sort of signify the death of the ministry in their own little particular ways, but the one that officially rubber-stamped that the group was over was he formed an alliance with The Big Show. The Unholy Alliance, I believe they call it, and it wasn't great, that angle, was it, really? But we did get Kane and X-Pac's tag team run out of that, which was one of my favourite things ever. So we end on a happy note. Yay! So there you have it, guys. That's the end of our quiz. And wasn't that fun? Shut up. Yes, it was. I'm going to set the pass mark at a stern but fair 7 out of 10 for this one. Any less and you have to start wearing a robe and some mascara. Any more and you can start wearing a robe and some mascara, but be pleased with yourself at the same time. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com for more brilliant quizzes like this every goddamn day. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Of course, but Adam Cleary and I will see you soon. Yes, I'm aware I said damn wrong. Bye!